The stars shattered like glass the night the alien queen descended upon Earth, her colossal ship eclipsing the moon and whispering promises of annihilation or alliance, in a voice that echoed through every human mind. Captain Elias Thorne stood on the observation deck of the United Earth Command Center, his hands gripping the railing so tightly his knuckles turned white. The air hummed with the low thrum of alien engines, a sound that vibrated in his chest like a second heartbeat. Below, in the sprawling city of New Horizon, lights flickered as if the world itself was holding its breath. Elias had seen wars, fought in the trenches of Mars colonies, lost friends to plasma fire, but nothing prepared him for this. The Queen wasn't here to conquer, she was here to wed, and she had chosen him. Why me? The question burned in his mind as he stared at the holographic projection of her form materializing before the Global Council. She was ethereal, a being of iridescent scales and luminous eyes that shifted colors like oil on water. Her name was Zorathia, ruler of the Vexery Empire, a civilization that spanned galaxies humans had only dreamed of. Peace, her telepathic voice resonated, soft yet commanding, requires sacrifice. I offer my hand to one of yours. Refuse, and your worlds burn. The council chambers erupted in chaos. Diplomats shouted, military advisors scrambled for strategies, but Elias felt a pull, an invisible thread tugging at his soul. He was no diplomat. He was a warrior, scarred from the border skirmishes where Vexery scouts had probed Earth's defenses. His wife had died in one of those raids, leaving him with a daughter he barely knew and a heart armored in grief. Yet here he was, selected not by chance, but by some alien algorithm that deemed him compatible. Compatible for what? He wondered, his pulse racing. But as the Queen's gaze locked onto his through the hologram, he knew refusal meant extinction. What choice did humanity have? In the hours that followed, Elias was whisked away to a neutral space station orbiting Jupiter, a gleaming bastion of chrome and crystal where human and Vexery delegates met under truce. The station's artificial gravity felt wrong, too perfect, pulling at his boots as he walked the sterile corridors. Guards flanked him, human marines with tense jaws and Vexery warriors whose tentacles writhed like living shadows. This is madness, muttered his second-in-command, Lena Voss, a sharp-eyed veteran with a cybernetic arm from the wars. Marrying an alien? What if it's a trap? Elias shot her a glance, his blue eyes stormy. If it's a trap, we're already in it. But peace. Lena, think of the colonies. No more orphans like my Sarah. His daughter, safe back on Earth, was the only light in his darkened world. He pictured her small face, freckled and fierce, begging him not to go. The thought twisted like a knife. But that was only the beginning. The wedding ceremony unfolded in a grand hall aboard the station, a chamber alive with bioluminescent vines that pulsed in rhythm with the Queen's heartbeat. Elias stood in his dress uniform, the fabric stiff against his skin, as Zorathia approached. She towered over him, her form graceful yet imposing, draped in a gown of liquid starlight that shifted with every step. Her eyes, now a deep violet, met his, and for a moment he felt her mind brush against his. Curious, probing, alien. "You fear me," she said aloud, her voice a melodic hum that bypassed translators. "Yet you stand firm. That is why I chose you, Elias Thorne. Your spirit echoes the warriors of my hive." The vows were exchanged in a blend of human tradition and Vexery ritual. He slipped a simple gold ring onto one of her slender tentacles, feeling the cool, scaled surface yield slightly. In return, she pressed a crystalline amulet to his chest, where it fused with his skin in a flash of painless light. With this bond, she intoned, "Our peoples are one. War ends. Prosperity begins." The delegates cheered, but Elias felt a surge of energy course through him, like fire in his veins. What had she done? The question lingered as they sealed the union with a touch, her tentacle wrapping around his hand, sending visions of distant stars flooding his mind. But peace, as Elias soon learned, was fragile as a spider's web. In the weeks following the wedding, he was transported to Zorathia's homeworld, Vexera Prime, a planet of towering spires and endless oceans that glowed with phosphorescent life. The air was thick with scents of ozone and spice, and the gravity lighter, making every step feel like a leap. Zorathia showed him her empire, vast hives where her subjects, insectoid beings with multifaceted eyes, hummed in harmonious labor. "We are a collective," she explained, her voice echoing in his thoughts now. "Thanks to the amulet. Emotion is secondary. Logic guides us." Elias wandered the royal gardens, where flowers bloomed in response to thoughts, their petals unfurling like secrets. He missed Earth, the grit of soil, the chaos of human laughter. "How do you live without feeling?" he asked her one evening, as they stood on a balcony overlooking a sea that sang lullabies. Zorathia's eyes shifted to gold. "Feeling leads to chaos, as your history shows. But you intrigue me, husband. Teach me your human heart." Their conversations deepened, bridging the chasm between species. Elias shared stories of his late wife, the pain of loss that still woke him at night. Zorathia revealed her own burdens. As queen, she was the hive's mind, feeling every death in wars past like phantom limb. "I wed you to end the cycle," she confessed, her tentacle brushing his arm. A spark jumped between them, electric and unfamiliar. Was this affection? Or something engineered? He pushed the thought away, focusing on the alliance. Trade flourished, human tech integrated with Vexery bioengineering, creating hybrids that healed wounds in seconds. But whispers of dissent grew, among humans who saw the marriage as surrender, and Vexery purists who viewed Elias as an impurity. One night, as Elias lay in their shared chambers, a vast dome of translucent crystal, he dreamed of fire raining from the skies. He woke, sweating, the amulet glowing hot against his chest. Zorathia stirred beside him, her form curling protectively. "A vision?" she asked. "The bond shares more than thoughts." He nodded, unease gnawing at him. What if the peace was built on lies? The question haunted him as reports trickled in. Skirmishes on the border worlds, ships vanishing without trace. But that was only the beginning. Months passed, and Elias adapted to Vexery life, his body changing subtly, the amulet enhancing his strength, sharpening his senses. He could hear the hive's collective hum, feel Zorathia's emotions like distant thunder. They explored forbidden ruins on Vexera's moons, where ancient artifacts whispered of a long-lost war between stars. "Our ancestors fought gods," Zorathia said, tracing runes that glowed under her touch. "Beings who wielded power like yours now grows." Elias flexed his hand, marveling at the energy crackling beneath his skin. Training with Vexery warriors, he outmatched them, his movements a blur. "This isn't natural," he confided in Lena via encrypted comms. She was back on Earth, coordinating defenses. "It's like I'm becoming more." Lena's hologram flickered. "Be careful, Captain. Rumors say the Queen's bond isn't just symbolic. It awakens something dormant in humans." The alliance held, but cracks appeared. A human ambassador was assassinated on a joint station, poison that mimicked Vexery venom. Fingers pointed, alliances strained. Elias stood in the war room, holograms of fleets dancing like fireflies. "This wasn't us," Zorathia insisted, her eyes flashing red, but doubt crept in. Her counselors, with their buzzing voices, eyed him suspiciously. "The human brings discord," one hissed. Elias confronted her in private, the ocean winds howling outside. "Is this what you wanted? Me as a pawn?" Her tentacle lashed out, then softened. "No, Elias. I chose you because your pain mirrors mine. We can heal together." Their first true embrace followed, awkward yet profound. Human warmth against alien coolness. For a moment, peace felt real. But what lurked in the shadows of her empire? Tensions escalated when a Vexery faction, the Shadow Hive, rebelled. Led by Zorathia's exiled brother, Krazer, they decried the marriage as weakness. "Humans are vermin." Krazer's broadcast echoed across the stars, his form a twisted mirror of Zorathia's grace. Attacks followed. A human colony vaporized, survivors screaming in void. Elias watched the footage, rage boiling. Sarah was on Earth, safe for now, but how long? He demanded action. We fight back, he told Zerathia, pacing the throne room. She hesitated, her logic clashing with his fury. War feeds the cycle. Negotiation got us here, he roared, the amulet amplifying his voice like thunder. She recoiled, but in her eyes he saw respect and fear. The bond deepened, sharing memories. Her childhood in the hive, isolated as queen-in-waiting, his battles, the scent of blood and regret. Together, she whispered, we end this. They launched a joint fleet, Elias commanding from the bridge of Zerathia's flagship, the Starweaver. The ship was alive, veins of energy pulsing like a heart. As they warped to the border, he felt the crew's minds, Vexery calm, humans tense. This bond, Zerathia explained, it's ancient tech. It merges essences, awakens godlike potential in compatible hosts. Elias froze. You knew. She nodded. But I didn't expect love. Love? The word hung between them as alarms blared. Shadow hive ambush. Plasma torpedoes streaked like comets, shattering shields. Elias gripped the console, visions flooding, strategies unfolding like chess moves. Evasive maneuvers, he barked, his voice carrying authority that silenced doubt. The ship dodged, counterfiring with biolasers that bloomed into explosive flowers. But losses mounted, a human cruiser gone, friends vaporized. In the chaos, Elias led a boarding party onto Kraser's vessel. Corridors twisted like intestines, alive with traps. His enhanced senses guided him. Dodging acid sprays, striking with precision. A Vexery warrior lunged. Elias moved like wind, his fist cracking exoskeleton. You're not human anymore, the dying foe gasped. Elias paused, horror dawning. What had he become? But there was no time. The core chamber awaited. Kraser faced them, tentacles whipping. Sister, you've diluted our blood with this abomination. Zerathia stood firm. He is our future. The battle raged, energy clashing in sparks. Elias felt power surge, the amulet blazing. He leaped, striking Kraser down, not with hate but resolve. The rebel fell, the hive fracturing. Victory? Or Pyrrhic? As they withdrew, Elias cradled a wounded Zerathia. We did it, she murmured, but whispers of greater threats echoed in his mind. What if Kraser was just a pawn? Peace returned, fragile. Elias and Zerathia toured worlds, symbols of unity. He visited Earth, hugging Sarah under blue skies. Dad, you're different, she said, touching the amulet. Stronger. He smiled, but unease lingered. Vexery tech integrated deeper. Humans gaining longevity, aliens learning empathy. Their marriage evolved. Nights of shared dreams, where galaxies danced in their thoughts. Yet dark clouds gathered. Scouts reported anomalies, void rifts opening, spewing ancient horrors. The gods return, Zerathia warned, her voice trembling for the first time. Legends spoke of the elder beings, creators who abandoned the universe, now awakening angry. The bond was meant to prepare us, she revealed. Your human spirit, my hive mind, together a weapon. Elias reeled. You used me? Hurt flashed, but she pulled him close. No, I fell for you. Reconciliation came in a storm of emotion, their union consummated in ways defying biology, minds merging, souls entwining. But the rifts widened, planets vanishing. War loomed, not between races, but against oblivion. The council convened on Vexera Prime, holograms of leaders flickering. We must seal the rifts, Elias proposed, his voice godlike. But the cost? Channeling the bond's power could consume them. Moral dilemma tore at him, save trillions or lose each other. I can't lose you, he confessed to Zerathia, alone in the gardens. Flowers wilted at his fear. Nor I you, she replied, but duty calls. Preparations intensified. Elias trained recruits, his prowess legendary, leaping chasms, bending metal. Rumors spread, the human fights like a god. Sarah joined him, a young pilot with fire in her eyes. For Mom, she said, family stakes heightened the tension. The first rift battle erupted near Saturn. Elder tendrils lashed out, devouring ships. Elias piloted a fighter. Zorathia linked mentally. Feel the flow, she guided. He dodged, firing amulet-amplified beams that sealed cracks in reality. Victory, but at cost, Lena fell her last words. Finish it, Captain. Grief fueled him. More rifts opened a cascade. The mid-story turning point hit like a supernova. In a vision, Elias saw the truth. The elders weren't invaders. They were ancestors enraged by the Vexeries' theft of their tech, the bond itself a stolen artifact. We've been the villains, he realized, confronting Zorathia. Your empire built on lies? Betrayal stung. Her eyes dimmed. I didn't know the full truth. My predecessors hid it. Trust shattered, then rebuilt in tears, alien and human. Forgive me, she pleaded. He did, but the war changed. No longer defense, atonement. The escalation peaked. Fleets amassed at the galaxy's core, where the mother rift pulsed like a heart. Elias led the charge, Sarah at his side. Stay back, he urged. No, Dad. Together. Zorathia joined, her ship a beacon. The confrontation was cataclysmic. Elder forms, colossal, formless, engulfed stars. Elias channeled the bond, power erupting. He fought like a god, shattering tendrils with thought waves, sealing voids with will. But the strain tore at him, visions of his life flashing. Wife's smile, Sarah's birth, Zorathia's touch. Zorathia sacrificed, diverting an attack. For us, she sent her mind fading. Elias roared, unleashing a final surge. The rift collapsed, elders retreating. Victory, but Zorathia lay dying in his arms, scales fading. I love you, he whispered, the amulet dimming. Her last breath, peace eternal. He returned a hero, but broken. Sarah comforted him on earth, under healed skies. The bond lingered, a whisper of her presence. Years later, Elias stood on a hill, watching stars. Humanity thrived, aliens integrated. He touched the amulet, feeling her echo. The universe was vast, but love bridged it. And in that quiet moment, he knew. Gods were made, not born, from the hearts that dared to unite. The night sky whispered her name, a promise that even in eternity, some bonds never break.